Hello, my name is Nathan Jacob Azoghi. I'm completing my master thesis in global economic governance and public affairs. My research asks a simple but urgent question. As money becomes digital, how can the European Union defend the euro's global relevance when the United States and China are already racing ahead with their own digital currency strategies? Most existing research treats digital currencies as a technical or financial topic. How blockchains work, or how stablecoins are regulated. Very few studies look at digital money as a diplomatic tool, something states can use to project influence, the same way they use trade agreements or sanctions. My thesis fills that gap by treating stablecoins and central bank digital currencies as instruments of geopolitical power, not just payment technology. This matters because whoever controls the digital payment rails of tomorrow will shape who trades, with whom, under whose rules, and in which currency. The US has already passed legislation turning private dollar stablecoins into a tool of dollar dominance worldwide. China is doing something similar with its digital yuan. If Europe doesn't act, it risks becoming a rule taker instead of a rule maker in the next generation of global finance. To answer this, I used a qualitative approach rooted in international political economy. I built a three-part framework: legal, infrastructural, and diplomatic. This three-part framework is to analyze how digital money creates power. I then applied this framework through comparative case studies of the United States, China, and the European Union. I combine this document's analysis of regulation like MiCA and the Genius Act with confidential interviews with experts from European institutions and central banks. The European Sovereign Stablecoin Fund, or the EUSSF, the central contribution of my thesis. I will explain how it would actually work. The EUSSF is designed as a publicly governed two layers vehicle. The first layer is the euro-denominated stablecoins issued under full European regulatory oversight, built directly on Eurosystem tokenized settlements infrastructure, so it always stays convertible one-to-one into public euro money. The second layer is a treasury function, the reserves backing that stablecoins wouldn't just sit idle, they'd be invested in, similarly to how a sovereign wealth fund operates. It will include in tokenized money market instruments, generating a structural revenue stream for European institutions, rather than that for private insurers like Tether or Seiko. Crucially, the USSF is not meant to replace the digital euro. The digital euro is a public anchor made for domestic retail use inside the EU. The USSF is the outward-facing instrument designed to circulate internationally, especially in regions such as the EU's neighborhoods and parts of the global south that are actively looking for an alternative to dollar and yuan denominated digital finance. I propose a three-tier accountability structure: a board of governors providing democratic mandates, a technical tier ensuring monetary and prudential soundness, and a council on values, acting as an ethical authority overseeing how the fund's extra EU investments are used as instruments of geopolitical engagement. This is what makes the USSF distinct from both the American and Chinese models. It combines financial accountability with democratic legitimacy. On governance, the USSF directly addresses a problem I call the EU's legitimacy gap between surveillance capacity and democratic governance. Legally, I showed this could be implemented through the Enhanced Cooperation Mechanism, allowing a coalition of willing member states to launch the USSF without requiring an unanimous EU27 agreement, which has historically stalled ambitious European financial projects. My conclusion is that Europe needs this second instrument alongside the digital euro, one that can act where the digital euro cannot, beyond EU borders, inject competition with the dollar and yuan stablecoin ecosystems. In practice, the USSF would let the EU extend the euro international reach through regulated private channel while keeping public accountability, turning Europe's regulatory strengths into real monetary diplomacy. Together with the digital euro, it will give the EU, for the first time, a complete and coherent digital monetary architecture. Thank you very much.